If you're watching this video, it means you're one of my Patreon subscribers, and it also means that you are finding the compact rule sheets I make quite useful. But I only make those rule sheets for the games in my collection. So it also probably means you and I have got quite similar game tastes. So I figured, why not do a top 10 video? The majority of the gaming I do is 2-player. So I figured, since we're the ones that kind of play 2-player games together for the majority of my gaming, why don't we both do a top 10? So, introduce yourself. My name's Andy.
I'm Altera.
This is my wife, Altera. So I just want to talk about 10 games that I think are amazing. And it's really hard to sort of sum up as 10 games as being sort of your favorite games, or even to rank them from 1 to 10, because to me, it all kind of depends on what kind of mood you're in that day. If I'm in a thematic mood, then yeah, I want to play something like Mansions of Madness or something along those lines. But if I'm in a more thinky mood, then I'm going to be more in the mood for a crunchy Euro. This is more just 10 games which I will happily play at any point.
Yeah, I think it's less of an official 1 to 10 ranking, rather they all exist on the same line, and it's just, here's 10 games that we really love, but it was really hard to put these into just your 10. So there's another load of games that we won't be mentioning that are probably on the same line. My number 10 is Kanban. First off, this is not a theme I thought I would enjoy. I have no interest in cars, I'm just not a car person, but I think it's just a really tight sound game. And when I first saw it, it was a lot. It was very overwhelming, it was very busy, I really just couldn't deal with it. But then I think after we took some time, you gave me your compact rules, we went through it, I could see just how beautiful the intricacy is. It's just a lot of fun to play. I really love how you kind of have to do everything, otherwise you are not making your car. You've got to visit every department, or else it's not one of those games where you don't have to actually make the product to win the game kind of thing. You
like
can
viticulture.
do like viticulture. You can just do all the cards, never make wine, and win. This, if you are not making your cars, you are not winning this game. You're not succeeding in anything.
This is my favourite Vital Lacerda game. It's just outside my top 10. And then just behind that is Lisboa. This is a perfect example of how he takes a theme and dissects it. And also it's just not over long. It works well at 2 players. I'd say Lisboa works better at 2 players, but also, 3-4 players. It's a fantastic game. It's so well thought out. I also do not care about the car theme, but it doesn't mean that I don't enjoy the game. I'll happily play this anytime. Brilliant.
Yeah, I'd say that's why it's in my top 10. I think it's a really well thought out game with fantastic mechanisms, and I always have a lot of fun playing it. And who also doesn't enjoy driving tiny little cars around a board? It's adorable.
So my number 10 is Civilization, the board game. Now, I have played a bit of the video game. It's fun. It's just one of those games where you kind of have to dedicate your entire video gaming life to if you want to get good at it. This game, it kind of does everything the video game does, but it also doesn't. I've had people go, well, why don't I just play the video game? I mean, the video game has so much going on that you almost couldn't distill it down to a tabletop experience. If you were trying to put that onto a table, there'd be so many tracks to follow. It'd be kind of the same criticism I'd have for a game like Gloomhaven. I kind of feel Gloomhaven has a little bit too much going on to put it on the table, but the app of Gloomhaven, I've played through pretty much every single mission on that, and it's so much fun having a lot of the busy work done for you. I kind of feel both this and the video game are 2 separate entities, and they can both exist. I enjoy both of them. When I play this game, I have to have both expansions in, and someone on BGG has gone through all the civilizations and rebalanced things. And it makes for the sort of encompassing 4X experience that I want. And it doesn't matter what I go for, whether I'm going for a military domination victory or a culture victory or technology or whatever, it's always entertaining no matter how I go about that. And I love how every aspect kind of helps balance each other.
I do like this game. Like you say, I like that you can have these different ways of winning, but you kind of need to do all of those different aspects
to some extent, yeah.
Like, yeah, if you want the domination fighting win, you kind of do need to do the technology, because the technology ups all your like the archer, the horse riders.
Yeah.
You cannot make them more powerful unless you do it through your tech cards. If you're going for the tech win, because you can also build up your fighting, you don't have to worry too much about if someone's going for a fighting domination win that you're going to get overpowered, because you might have some tech that's like, no, you can still fight me, but I'll still might win on that aspect. So yeah, I think out of all the Civilization games we've played, this would probably be the one I would prefer to play.
I just really enjoy it. If I'm in the mood for a long, crunchy experience, this offers that to me. This is a set a few hours aside and have a full-blown tabletop experience, and I've never played a game where I haven't kind of lost track of the amount of time we spent playing it. I can say the same for Twilight Imperium, but that game, I haven't played 4th edition, and I really enjoyed 3rd edition. I've played 12-hour games of Twilight Imperium, and I'm always so tired by the end. I almost don't care who wins. It gets towards the end, and I just want the game over, even though I'm enjoying it. And this game is the perfect length of time that we were all fighting tooth and nail right to the very end, but whether you win or lose, we all just had a great time.
Yeah, I've never felt like, oh, I'm tired, I want this to end now. We're still like, even a few hours in, still like, I'm so close to the win on this. So like, I've just got to do this. And it is still, at the end, you're still like really excited to try your hardest because you're so close and someone else is so close. And my number 9 is Welcome to Dinosaur Island.
Welcome to
legally distinct non-copyright island. Anyone who knows me knows I've got a very big soft spot for an 80s aesthetic. It's definitely my wheelhouse. And so the look of this game has been made for me. This is quite sort of a hybrid game. There's worker placement, building your own theme park with dinosaurs. I like the very distinct phases where the first one is we are just getting dinosaur DNA and dinosaur templates. Then the second round is now we've got to buy things to improve your park or people to improve your park. And then the final phase is your park is open, you've got visitors for the day, and there's things like they can visit attractions, they can see your new dinosaurs. And now you lose some attendance to your park because, quote unquote, they were perhaps eaten by the rampaging dinosaur, which health and safety wise should have got you shut down, but apparently you can still function for the day.
Well, you can still open again the next day.
Yeah, you can still
Doesn't
open
matter
the
how
next
many
day.
people. Sometimes you just want to get your punters eaten.
Yeah.
Sort of.
So sometimes, you can have a really bad day and like half your attendance at your park have been eaten, but apparently you can still open the next day because health and safety isn't a real issue. All you're trying to do is make the best park, the best dinosaur themed park. And I do enjoy that it isn't just the dinosaurs. There are other aspects to it that will get you points.
I always think this game doesn't do anything new. But then when I try and compare it to other games, so if I was going to go, there's other worker placement games, there's other games where you can build stuff and play with cards and do that kind of thing. But then anytime I try to think of another game that does what this one does better, I really struggle. So it's almost like it's kind of like a hodgepodge of things, but then they all, like you say, they all work together towards the theme, which is obviously Jurassic Park the game, and it's really fun. But anytime I try and think of a game that does what this game does, I struggle because it's just kind of stands alone. And we've played Dinosaur World and we just didn't really get on with it. It didn't do... The park phase is just not fun in that game. And although it looks better than this, I mean, this game still looks great. Dinosaur World looks better because they had bigger budget, because of how successful this one was. Ultimately, this is the better game. And yeah, again, this is probably, if not top 20, just outside my top 20. I just don't think another game does what this game does. And I know I haven't done a compact rule sheet for it, but again, that's probably because I've played this game enough, and personally, I just don't struggle with the rules. I think the phases are so intuitive. The way the phase boards are set out, it just kind of makes sense, and there's just not really any rules that kind of aren't already available to you in the playing area. So it's just a really succinct experience, and I've never had a bad time with it. And I've taught it to sort of non-gamers, and they really enjoy it too. It's almost, I wouldn't say a gateway game, but it kind of is a great introduction into aspects of worker placement and with a great theme on top.
So my end thoughts are, yeah, it's just a really fun game. I always have fun playing it. I love its crazy coloured 80s aesthetics, really fun mechanics, thought out coherent phases, and also, I do really love the little tiny dinosaur meeples, and it's always fun to see how everyone's parks look at the end with all their different types of dinosaurs that definitely did not eat anyone. My PR team have told everyone that that did not happen.
So my number 9, are we on 9?
Yes, we're on 9.
My number 9, God, I've made them 3 games and they've already gone wrong. So my number 9 is an older game. It's Dungeon Petz. This is a game that I've had for a while, and I think it's a little bit underrated and almost kind of forgotten about. I see it for sale quite a lot for quite cheap prices, and I think that's because people are buying it thinking they're going to play some cutesy game, and it's a lot heavier than you'd expect. This is effectively a worker placement game where you collect pets, you have to feed them, but then you also have to sort of Tamagotchi style look after them. But then there's this other element on top of it where you're not just looking after them, you're kind of showing how good you are at looking after them, both in a kind of exhibition and also to potential buyers who are looking for pets who have particular aspects, sort of pets that don't get sick or pets that do a lot of pooping. I like playing this with the expansion because I think it just adds a few more elements, and it's one of those expansions where you can stick it in, and if you choose to, you can completely ignore that expansion. But if you do want to get involved in it, it's just extra options. I like expansions that just give you more stuff, that don't kind of take away from what the game is originally. I've had this game for a while now, and I don't think it's one I'll ever get rid of. I think I could see it being one that would get a deluxe version down the line. But I mean, it still looks great for its age. One mechanic that's really clever in this game, which I can't think is used in any other game, at the start of your turn, you kind of plan how strong each of your sort of worker groups are, and then you reveal them along with all the other players, and you take turns going for worker placement spots on the board using your groups. And that's just so clever because we've all got a mass of imps to send out to collect stuff, but sometimes you just really need that cage or you really need that creature, and you just have to go, look, I'll do less turns this round in order to get the things that I really need.
You were the one who first introduced this to me years ago now, and I agree, it was a lot heavier than the idea of how it looks and stuff that you first think. But I just agree with anything. I think it's a wonderful little worker placement with the added aspects of you have to be a very good Tamagotchi owner with all these weird little creatures that all have different requirements. And some of the bad aspects might actually not necessarily be bad, because the exhibition phase, they might be looking for a really angry animal with mutations that poops a lot. And so actually you might want to neglect that animal for a round because now he's going to be better. Or, oh, it's mutated. Oh, it's got very angry. Oh, it's pooped its cage a lot. Actually, the exhibitionist really wants like a poop-filled angry animal. So cool, I might neglect that animal for a bit to give it all these negative aspects because it benefits me more. But it's a really much more crunchy worker placement than you would ever expect. So I would say definitely give this one a go if you really like a very in-depth worker placement. Number 8 for me is Cthulhu, Death May Die. This game's just really a lot of fun. I'd say it's a scenario-based.
Yeah, scenario. It's a build your own scenario.
Yeah, it's build your own adventure game, basically. Yeah. It comes with multiple scenarios and then multiple great old ones. And you can kind of mix and match them all together. By doing so, though, that means that the great old ones have different ways of playing, different monsters, all sorts of different aspects. So they will also alter the scenario you're playing, which means there is a lot of replayability with them. And there's already quite a lot of scenarios and old ones already, but there's even more coming. So
yeah, the huge Kickstarter coming out.
Yeah, so you'll be able to play the new ones with the new ones, but then smush the new ones into the old ones. And I just think it's a really well thought out, fun game. There's also lots of investigators to play.
Absolute ton of them.
It's so
and even more coming out.
Each investigator has 2 powers each that's a common pool amongst all of them, and then 1 unique power. So you really have to think about the characters you're picking to get them to work together.
Yeah.
It's also very thematic. I love the theme. The scenarios are all really different, really interesting. And I do enjoy the aspect of you kind of have to keep making your investigators insane because it benefits them.
The more you drive your investigator insane, the stronger they become.
The more dice is added to your pool, to the point where it's like, I don't think we have enough dice to to roll the amount I need to roll. And I think even when you lose, it's great because it told a great story. Every scenario tells a great story, whether or not you win.
What I like about this game is it's so streamlined. You choose a great old one, you choose an episode, and then you choose from, I don't know, 500 investigators, you choose 1 each to play. So you've always got that variety. It's so cleverly thought out that it doesn't matter what you kind of build, you are always going to win if you win this co-op game.
It's a very big if.
Yeah, you are always going, if you win, it is always by the skin of your teeth. I mean, a good co-op is a good puzzle, and it's not too easy, it's not too hard. You want a good co-op to be a fun puzzle that you work on together, otherwise you would just play it solo. And you want to win it, but you want to feel like you deserve that win.
I just think it's the best version of a video game that's not a video game that I have ever played. So there you go, that's my number 8, Cthulhu Death May Die.
So my number 8 is Teotihuacan City of Gods. Now this is a rondel game, and I realise when you look at my number 1 that a rondel mechanic is kind of one of my favourite mechanics. And in this game, you're using dice. You choose one of your dice to move around the board on this rondel, and every space that you land on, you activate, and then your dice kind of levels up. Having higher powered workers means that you do better actions, but then it also means they're more expensive. But then because they're 6-sided dice, once you reach 6, they actually ascend, and then you get an ascension power and you tick on the game, but then they come back as 1s again.
Yeah.
And that's such a clever way of using your dice sort of thing. You want them to level up, and you want them all to kind of level up at the same time, and you want to trigger stuff, but then the game becomes shorter, and then you have to start again, building up again from scratch. And then there's a lot of issues where if you're using spaces which are occupied by other players, workers, or even your own, they're more expensive to use. So you've got this mechanic where you've constantly got to keep on top of having enough to pay to do actions and then deciding how you're going to work through all your 4 workers being at different values of each other. This is a game that a friend of ours showed us a year or so ago. And I played it, I was like, that was good. Did terribly at it because I didn't have... I wasn't aware of what the game required to do well. But it was a game that kind of stuck with me, and I kept coming back to it mentally thinking, oh, I'd love to play that game again. And then eventually I got a hold of a copy of all the expansions, and I realised the expansions add some really important stuff to it. They improve the rondel spaces, but they are quite cluttered. If you do go heavy on the expansions, you kind of have to cherry pick what works about those. So there's certainly aspects about them, like the 4th orange track, like the Empire board, which I just don't think are necessary because again, they kind of detract away from what I like about the game. But there is a lot in the expansions which kind of just add more. And again, I talk about what I like for an expansion. I like expansions that just add more. I just kind of really find it a satisfying puzzle. I know you don't enjoy this one as much as me. How do you feel about this game?
I like it, yeah. I do enjoy the puzzle aspect of figuring out which dice do I want to move here, which dice do I want to ascend, or I might want to lock one in somewhere and sort of not use it for a while because that's going to be more beneficial. So I quite like that puzzle of working out what am I doing, because since you can up them numerically, when do I do that, who do I do that with?
I know you prefer Tekhenu.
Yeah,
which is by the same designer.
Yeah.
Which I also really enjoy, but I prefer this one over that one.
Since it's not in my top 10, I won't really go into detail, but yeah, we played both of them at the same time, and that one just kind of edged out a bit more for me.
I mean, I kind of feel like this is a pretty elegant game. In terms of teaching it, it's not too difficult. Although the player sheet I made for it ends up having to be 4 pages long, and that's about all the modules in there. It's just there's so many additional tiles, you just kind of need to explain them. And I found that really slowed down our first version of the game, which is why I wasn't so sure about it. One thing I hate when I'm playing games with lots of expansions is, okay, I've got 5 rule books, and if I want to know what that tile is, it's in this rule book. If I want to know what that tile is in this rule book. So we were playing a 3-player game and we were kind of passing around all these different rule books, or I was constantly having to ask the person whose game it was what tiles I was using. That stuff really gets in the way of my enjoyment for a game. So having all the iconography on a player aid in front of me, that's when this game really elevated to me, when I knew that, oh yeah, I actually really love this game, now that I can just play without having to do sort of a feat of memory the entire time.
My number 7 is probably one of the newest ones on my list. We only just played this last year for the first time, and it absolutely blew me away, and that is Distilled. So it's a game where you are different distilleries and you've just got to make all kinds of different alcohols. To do that, you're basically acquiring different cards. They always have to have water, yeast, and then some sort of sugar, which is grain, fructose, or plant sugar. And then it's a very clever mechanic. You have to then shuffle all the cards together, remove the top and bottom card, and then whatever's left, that makes your alcohol. So it might actually not be the alcohol you started intending to make, but it might be something. Yeah, I think this is just a really tight, quick game with some fun mechanics. Like I say, the shuffling mechanic to make your alcohol, I really like that. I don't think I've seen another game that does that. And yeah, I just think it's really well made, really thought out, and yeah, it just blew me away. I thought it was just a lot of fun, and I always love getting it to the table.
Yeah, there's not much else I can say about this game. It's just a very enjoyable game. It doesn't outstay its welcome. Everyone we've played it with has enjoyed it. Thematically, it really feels like what it sets out to do, which is we're all distilleries making alcohol. And just great card play. Really clever card play.
Yeah.
Enough variety in the decks. We play with the expansions, but they're not needed. It just adds more stuff, so that's great. There's another little tiny expansion we haven't tried yet, but we'll just shove it in there. Yeah, there's enough variety in the cards that you always kind of feel like you're going to play a slightly different game. And there's enough options available to you that you never kind of feel like if you get bad card draws or if you get screwed over by the way that you're distilling alcohol.
I can still make something, no matter, even if the main ingredient I needed got pulled out of my
you're still learning something.
I'm still making something, so you'll always make something, which I do like.
Cool.
Yeah, and I love the theme. I think it's just really fun, the idea of making all these different alcohols. It's not a theme I've seen before, and I really like that.
To 7?
Yes, 7.
So 7. 7 is Cyclades. This is one of the first games I bought when I started properly getting into the board gaming hobby. I played it again recently, and it just still holds up. I mean, there are other games that do what this does, but not really in the same way. This is effectively a bidding game. You're bidding on different gods, and each god allows you a certain power, and one of them, for instance, might just move your ships, or one of them might just move your people. But you can't move your people unless you set your ships around in certain ways to act as bridges between the islands. So you kind of have to think about what order you're bidding on these gods. That's what makes it interesting to me. There was a Titans expansion that came out later on in its lifespan, which kind of negated that original element a little bit. And I didn't enjoy that as much as the Hades expansion, which just gives you a few other options for fighting. But ultimately, it's a fighting game with clever card play, but also clever bidding mechanics. I don't want to speak for you, but how do you feel about this? As someone that's not a huge fan of dudes on a map fighting games, what do you think of this one out of the ones you've played in comparison?
I like its simplicity. I think it's a very simple, and that not in a bad way, but just very simple, easy to read mechanics that I just think, okay, this is good. I got this. It's not too taxing for me to work out how to win.
I mean, there's not really much else I can say about it. It's a game that's been around for a little while. There's a new version of it coming out, and I've incorporated some of those into this in a kind of version 1.5, and that has again improved the game, and that's what kind of got it back into my top 10. But I do think this version of it with Hades is the epitome of what Cyclades is. Not Titans, not the new version, well, not the entirety of the new version, which kind of takes away from some of the aspects of what I like about this game. And there's all these other dudes on the map games that have come over the years, and I enjoy a lot of them. I even games like Rising Sun or Chaos in the Old World or Godfather even, or I really enjoy Shogun. But ultimately, this is one of my favourites if I'm after just a simplistic dudes on a map fighting game. This just does it for me.
This is my number 6, Grand Austria Hotel.
Take your hands off my lobby boy!
It's just a very cute, simple game. You're basically getting cards which are guests to visit your cafe. You're giving them specific food and drink they require, and then giving them a hotel room to stay in afterwards. But specific coloured cards have to stay in specific coloured rooms. So if you don't have those rooms available, you might not be able to give them a room for the night.
I mean, it's one of those games where you use a random element, but then the actions is decided by the die, but the strength of the action is decided by how the dice roll that. So the majority of the dice showed a 5. It means that if you choose the action in the 5th place, it's going to be a strong action. But it's just one of those games where you can kind of set out with a plan, but you kind of have to just react to what's available to you. It doesn't outstay its welcome, it's very fun.
This is one time where I do actually like randomness. A lot of the time I don't, but I do feel that this randomness works because there is still things you can do. It may not be the go you wanted, but there is still things to do. And just, I think it's just really great little succinct game, and I've just always had fun. Every time this game gets suggested to play, I'm just always happy to play it. So that's why I think it's in my top.
My number 6 is Orléans. It's a bag builder. I mean, effectively a deck builder, but using little tokens. So it's more along the lines of Quedlinburg than it is Dominion. It's just such a clever little game. You've all got your own board in front of you that you have to fill with tokens you take out, and once those actions are completed with your tokens, and you can perform those actions. There's also a additional map element where you're moving around and collecting resources. So you've got that element as well as tracks that you're going along, and the further along you are on these tracks, the more points and abilities you have. Yeah, it's just a game that doesn't look great, but every time you play it, you're just reminded of how good a game it is. We also really like Antiplano, which is kind of a spiritual successor, but I kind of prefer this one. Yeah, it's just a great game. Do you like Bloody All?
Yeah, I do love the bag building aspect, like you say, and just unlike the pushing your luck of Quacks, it's just I hope I can pull that person that I really want, but if you don't, it's not the end of the world.
No.
You might just have to wait a bit. Yeah, you might have to wait a bit. You might have to like put some of your people in for now and not use them for a couple of rounds in the hopes that you can get the thing you want. But I just think it's a really cute version of a bag builder. I just think it works really well. There's a lot going for it.